our next card, this is also one of the online exclusives that you guys can add to your kit if you want to. If you're joining as a demonstrator, this is something you could add. It's our 3-color Glimmer paper. It's got the Highland Heather, the Petal Pink, and then the Pretty Peacock. So pretty. They're 12 by 12 sheets, by the way. I just cut them down so that I could totally show, and it would be a very easy way to show how amazing this paper is. Okay, so I'm using some of that on my card. I have a thick white card base. I have a black layer, 4 by 5 1/4, and then I have a layer for the inside that I've already done something to, but I'll show you that in a minute. That's also 4 by 5 1/4. Oh, I need this black layer. And then I have taken some pieces of the Highland Heather Glimmer paper. So I've got 3 little squares. They all measure 1 1/4 inch. And then I also have some more squares. And these come from 2 different packages of our Designer Series paper. We've got the Subtles, which is where I got the Pool Party. And then the Brights is where I got the Lemon Lime Twist. I use the same pattern. It's the pattern with the hearts on the back and the dotted, all these kind of little stripy things on the front. And then I have a layer of white. This is a 2 3/8 inch square. And this Pool Party one is 2 1/2. And you'll notice that there is a little bit of, I used this for something else at one point and I didn't like it, so I peeled it off. Anyway, I'm going to cover that up so it's a scrap. So, I mean, I wasn't going to throw it out. It's a perfectly good scrap. And then I have a scrap of Highland Heather for my sentiment. So the stamp set that I'm going to use, or the bundle that I'm going to use, is called the Curved Occasions. This is actually one of the bundles that we're going to be using in our First We Turkey, Then We Stamp camp. That's happening in November. If you guys are just joining me, Dina Kelly and I are having a stamp camp this fall. And it is going to be on Black Friday, but everything is pre-recorded, so nothing is live. So we don't have to be there, and you don't have to be there unless you want to be there. So we're going to load everything onto the Facebook group on Black Friday. And then if you want to craft along with the videos that we post every so often, you absolutely can. Or if you want to do it later, you can do it later. It's entirely up to you when you do it. But this is one of the bundles that we're going to use, and you can add it to your registration if you want. And the link to this Turkey Stamp Camp is in the description of this video. If you are a team member of mine or a Stamp Happy Academy member, you get a $10 discount, and you'll note that on your registration, and then I will bill you for the cost of the stamp camp, less the $10. So there we go. Okay, so I'm going to use this, I'm calling it a disco ball. I don't know what it really is, but I'm calling it a disco ball. And so we are going to take this white layer here, and we're going to stamp the disco ball on it. And we're going to, of course, use Memento Black, because I am going to do some coloring with my Stampin' Blends after I get it inked up. So I'm inking up the whole thing, and then I'm going to stamp it on my layer of white, and I'm going to try to stamp it so that the little string thing is in the middle. So we will try our hardest to make that happen. Okay. So there's that. So now I kind of feel like there's something missing over here. I don't know if you guys see that or not, or if it bothers you. It bothers me. So I'm going to clean this stamp off, and then I'm going to ink up one of the little stars, and I'm going to stamp it by itself. So let me spank this dry. And so right here is a large star and then a smaller star, and I am going to get both of those. Actually, what I can do is this. I can mask that off so that all I'm going to ink up is that little star. So we'll just tap, tap, tap that on my pad, peel off the tape, and then we're going to add this little star. Hopefully that blob on my pad or my block does not transfer. So there. So now to me it looks a little more level, a little more uniform, and I am happy with that. Most important part of doing something like that, throw the tape in the trash so you don't get ink all over yourself. Okay, so I've got some blends here. I've got some Highland Heather. I'm going to use the dark I've got the light lemon lime twist, and I'm going to use, I believe, the dark pool party. So let me get the lid off of this dark pool party and get my cheater piece up here so I can kind of see. I'm not going to color in every single one of these. I've got a little cheater thing here that I am going to use to kind of help me, because I already colored one and I kind of liked how it turned out. So I'm just going to kind of copy it. So this is then going to be glued onto our piece of pool party that is a little bit messed up, but we can still use it. So I'm just kind of adding a little glue there, and we'll add this piece. So again, the white layer is 2 3/8 inch square, and then the pool party is 2 1/2. There we go. Okay, so that's done for the moment. So then on this black layer here, we're gonna kind of arrange these little squares in a way that makes me happy. So I'm just gonna kind of lay them out where I want everything to be, and then I'll glue it all down. I kind of like to do this first a lot of times just to make sure that everything fits, everything looks right, you know, that kind of thing. And then, so I actually only needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares. So I have an extra pool party, which no big deal there. But so I'm going to start adding my squares here. So fun. And I'll show you, I picked this color combination off the Color Coach. Those of you that may not know what the Color Coach is, I will show mine to you. And I think I have a link to it in the description of this video. So I wanted to use the Highland Heather Glimmer paper. I knew that for sure. I wasn't sure what else I wanted to use. So I pulled up my Color Coach and I pulled up Highland Heather, and it shows Highland Heather, Parakeet Party, and Pool Party. Well, I thought, you know what? I could probably use Lemon Lime Twist. Why did I want to use Lemon Lime Twist? I don't know. I just did. So I used Lemon Lime Twist. And I am very happy with how it turned out. So I'm going to attach this to the front of the card. Then get some more glue on that. And we should have just enough to have a nice border around the whole thing. Okay. So next I have my Highland Heather scrap here. And we have the happy birthday sentiment from the set that is already curved. It comes curved. You don't have to do anything to it except ink it up and stamp it and punch it out. Okay. There is a few other stamps in this set that aren't curved, but you can curve them if you want. And that, I got a little heavy-handed on that one. We're going to try that again. And so I'll kind of show you how I did that. That's much better. All right, so we're going to bring the punch in. And so you just line that up. I think like that. And then we're going to add it right above our disco ball. So when I was kind of designing this card, to me, it's a little bit too long. I didn't like how it went right to the edges of my white. So I'm just going to trim off a tiny bit. So I'm just going to kind of stick this in my trimmer so that it's flush. And then I'm going to scooch it over and chop it off just a tiny bit. So there, it's flush against my finger. And now I'm going to move it. Whoops. Flush against my finger, moving it a tiny bit and chopping it off. And so I chopped off the tiniest bit, but I think it's going to be better because then some of my white is going to show. And I like that better. So I am going to add some glue, and since it's liquid glue, I will be able to wiggle it around a little bit if I'm not happy with my placement, which I think it's going to be all right. I'm going to scooch it down just a tiny bit. Then I did find some Parakeet Party ribbon in my little scrap ribbon bag, and it was just enough to tie a little bow. And so I thought I kind of want a bow. So here's a bow, and I'm just going to glue that with a glue dot right up there at the top of the disco ball. So it also was a little bit glittery, the ribbon, so I just kind of thought that tied in really well with the rest of the thing, and I'm rolling up my glue dot now. So I've got it rolled up into a tiny little log, and I am going to stick that right there on my, I don't know what you call it, on the string that's holding the disco ball up. And I think this side is a tiny bit too long. There. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. So now here's my inside piece. I realize this is white and I could have just decorated it on the inside, but you'll notice when you use Stampin' Blends, they do bleed. And so I didn't want the back of my card to have bleeding on it. So I just cut a layer of white. I added the little cake image from the stamp set. I colored it with the same color markers. And then I did the From All of Us on a curve. And I'll show you how I did that. Where's my curvy stamp? So here it is. It's not curved in the case. It's just flat. So I'm holding the ends of this. I don't know if you guys can even see this. I need something maybe lighter, maybe this white. So I'm just holding the ends, and I have one of my skinny blocks here. And so I'm just going to I'm kind of curving it. And so I'm going to have it touch down where the word all is. And then I'm just bringing the other two sides down. So now it's curved. That's all I did. And then I just stamped it right above my cake. So pretty simple. The sentiments are pretty thin and very flexible, so you can. And I don't know if the happy birthday one, you might be able to straighten that one out. I haven't done that yet, but it's possible. Okay, so there we go. So that's why I have a white layer on a white card, just because I didn't want it to show through on the back. I didn't want there to be the bleeding there. I could pull some rhinestones out and see what happens. Let's see. Do I have some tiny ones? Kind of gently lay them down like I do, so that if I don't like it, I can take it off. I don't know if this is going to take away from the stars. What do you guys? I don't think you can. Well, I mean, they're not terrible, honestly. They're not terrible. I don't know if well, I guess we could put one more. This is also kind of a larger star. Maybe. What do you guys think? You don't really notice them, I don't think, but a little more bling maybe isn't such a bad thing, since it's just kind of a clear rhinestone. I don't think it's a bad thing, so I think I'm going to go ahead and leave them on there. So